All right, if you missed problems 13 through 16, you're supposed to be watching this video. And again, if it was like 15 and 16, you can just fast forward and get to the problems that you missed. I know this was a non-calculator part, so you couldn't just type this in, so you actually had to know what you were doing, which means you had to get your like terms together. So -3 minus a -5. So -3 minus a -5, that's actually going to give you a 2. So some of you probably thought it was just -3 minus 5, which is why you probably picked either A or C. So 2 would have been the first number. And then the I terms, -7i minus -4i. Again, that minus a negative. So it actually is a -3i. So that is why it was choice D. So that was a little tricky if you were bad with your positive and negative numbers. All right, 54, again, this is one of those problems where you could just count it out. If you remember the pattern, I1, negatives in the middle. And I just do this. I'll say, okay, that goes. So I have a remainder of 2. So remainder of 2 would be -1. And that is how you got -1. For this problem, you were multiplying, so you had to remember to distribute 2 times -5 is -10. 2 times -5i is -10i. 3i times -5 is a positive 15i. And -3i times -5i is positive 15i squared. You have to remember that I squared is equal to -1, which changes that. When you put these like terms together, that gives you -25. These like terms together gives you positive 5i. And then you just have to look for the one that matches. So that's why it's B. For 16, you had to distribute, but remember, you could only multiply the 3 times the 6. So that gives you -3 square root of 18. And again, you have to multiply the -3 times the 2. So that gives you -4 square root of 6. Notice you don't see that answer because they broke down the 18. So this becomes 3 square roots of 2, but you already had a 3 there, or -3. So that's a -9 square root of 2 minus 4 square root of 6. And that is your answer. So if you missed any problems between 13 and 16, you're to do the worksheet that's on Blackboard that's for problems 13 through 16.